Boom! What's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to Dawn Uncensored, the channel where we talk about tips, tricks, and knowledge as we go through our self-improvement journey. Today, ladies and gentlemen, it's already up on the whiteboard. Intent and focus. Let's hop right into it. What is intent and focus? What is this universal law that you need to be using? Listen, the law of intent and focus is one of the most powerful things, and here's exactly why. The law of intention means that you are intentionally doing something to get something from the universe. When you have motive, when you have an intention behind your actions, the universe will listen to you and will see that every single thing that you're doing is in line to get those said actions. So let's say you're using the law of action, right? You're using the manifestation law of action, and you're also using the law of intention. So not only are you manifesting your thoughts towards you, you're working towards your thoughts with the action, and you're going at them with the intention of achieving them. Of course, the universe is going to give you what you want, because there's no way it could not listen if everything you're focused on is achieving this one goal. How am I not going to get successful if all I think about is success? How am I not going to become rich if all I think about is getting rich? How am I not going to retire my parents if all I think about is retiring my parents? How am I not going to be able to have freedom if all I think about is freedom? Do you see what I'm saying? Intention matters. The intention that you use, right? The intention that you use towards a goal is super powerful. But not only is the intention that you use powerful, the focus you have is powerful. The attention you give it is powerful. That is extreme amounts of power. And now let's break this down, right? So let's say you have this goal right here. This is your goal, and everything that you're doing in your day-to-day life has the intent and focus of achieving this goal. By keeping your mind and instead keeping your actions, your minds, and your goals towards and focused on only this one goal, the universe is going to, guess what? It's gonna have to listen. It's gonna have to listen to who? To you. The universe is going to have to listen to you. And guess what? The universe will respond to you if you are actually using this correctly. So guess what? It's going to start manifesting a reality that's slowly going to start making its way towards you. And as you keep going with this intention and focus day in, day out, and you keep getting the reps in, and you keep going day in, day out, may take 100 days, may take a year, may take 2 years, may take 3 years, but you keep going at it with the same intensity day in, day out, day in, day out. Eventually, that manifested reality is going to hit. And guess what? You are going to be the person who's going to have this reality. Now, you're going to be asking me, Dawn, how in the world do I start to build my intention and my focus towards everything that I'm doing? First of all, let's start off with the first thing that you need to be doing. You need to, one, be building a strong environment that is filled with only the intention of having that goal in mind. First of all, your environment needs to match up with what you're trying to do. If you are trying to get in shape, but you are in an environment where you are constantly surrounded by unhealthy foods, unhealthy habits, unhealthy people who don't like going to the gym, people who like being average in a sense, right? If you're surrounded by people like that, of course you're going to be the product of your environment, right? You are the sum of the 5 people you hang around the most, and you are the sum of the environment you are in. So if you change your environment intentionally, you're going to be changing yourself. If you go from being a person who was eating like a slob to being around people who eat healthy, you buy healthy food, so the only thing that you have is health around you, right? You make your entire, For You pages or anything else on social media about working out or eating healthy or, doing fitness or anything else like that. When you build an environment with the intention and focus of obtaining a goal, I promise you, you'll watch that goal start to manifest in front of you like 5 times faster. The only reason why is because all of your focus and your intention is built on this one goal. It's built on achieving this one thing. So of course, if you're constantly building an environment and you're constantly in an environment where that is the only thing that is shown to you and that is the only thing that you can think about, of course, the only thing that's going to be getting manifested for you is going to be that reality where you are fit. Or maybe for you, it might be, if you're in my case, a success. So all I see on my For You page is success, the life that I want to live, the things that I want to do, the freedom that comes with, being able to achieve success, right? Being a coach, purposeful, things of that sort, right? Of course, the only thing that I think about now, if you ask anybody who's close to me, they'll tell you the only thing I talk about is literally achieving success. That's it. That's all I care about. That's literally all it is achieving success, doing my purpose, and living a good life. That's all I care about. So of course, the only thing that I can even have the intention and focus on is going to be that. So of course I'm going to build an environment knowing that this is how intention and focus works. I'm going to build an environment that's solely based on this one goal. I go on my YouTube, it's all about cars that you want to get, freedom that you want to get, day trading, things like that, things that I'm interested in, right? Go on Instagram, it's the same thing. Go on TikTok, it's the same thing. Everything has the same intent and focus behind it. There's no change in anything that I do. Of course, I'm going to be able to achieve success more than the person who doesn't know this, more than the person who doesn't surround themselves in an environment like this, more than a person who literally just expects there to be change when the environment they've been in has been the same for the last 10 odd something years, 5 odd something years, 3 odd something years. Of course, you're not going to be able to change if your environment is still the same. That doesn't make sense. So let's really think about it. How are you going to be able to change if your environment is still the same? You change your environment, you change the intention and focus on what you're doing. When you put your environment and you use your environment and you change it with the intent and focus of achieving a goal, that goal is going to be in front of you every single day. Of course, that goal is going to seem like it's getting closer and closer to you at 10 times the amount of rate, because that's all you can think about. That's all you are thinking about. That's all you are shown. Of course, you're going to be able to get that if all that is being shown is that. Number 2, next thing that you need to do, you need to be building a mindset with the intention and clear focus on what your goal is. And by building a mindset, I mean by regulating your thoughts, being consciously aware about what you are thinking and changing them to be only in line with the intent and focus of achieving a certain goal. Even if you're, let's say, going to go do something, right? You're going to go do something that may not seem like it's in line with your purpose. But if you think about it with the intent of focus of, okay, even though I'm going to go do something that may not be directly in line, what can I still learning from this that can help me in the long run with my purpose? That's how I see everything that I do. Every social interaction, every person I talk to, every single thing that I do, every single move that I make, I think about it in the, even if this may not be doing anything for my purpose, what is it teaching me that I can use for my purpose? Then you start walking intently into the mindset of everything of, okay, everything is teaching me how am I able to achieve my purpose, or how am I able to achieve my goal? Of course, your mindset, if it's only thinking about, I need to achieve this goal, the goal is the only thing that I need to achieve, this is what I need, this is what I want, right? You have that desire for change, you have that desire to achieve, you have that desire to conquer. Of course, the universe is again going to listen and manifest a reality towards you that's going to be what you want, because your mindset is actually built to be in line with your goals. You actually had the intent and focus of achieving, guess what? A goal. So because you put all of your intent and your focus into achieving said goal, of course you're going to be able to get it, because your mindset is now actually auto-tuned to go to that goal. Of course you're going to achieve it because your environment is now auto-tuned to be in line with that goal. If I want to be a person who's successful, I'm going to surround myself around successful people who have the same mindset. Of course, they're going to rub off on me because my environment I'm a product of. They're going to rub off on me, right? And of course, I'm going to be able to get that same type of intent and focus that these people have. It's really not that hard. It's just that most of y'all don't want to take the time to do so. I have no idea why, but you guys will sit there and expect change to happen when you haven't changed your environment, nor have you ever changed your mindset. How am I going to be able to even get a task done if my mindset is still the same and the environment I have is still the same? And you could be saying, I have no way to change my environment. You actually do. If you live with your parents, you can stop hanging around your brothers and sisters if they're not actually in the same goal or have the same things that you want to do. You can stop talking to people in your family if they're not in the same inline and goal as you. You can only focus on that one goal. You can also, right, make your room into a whole different space. My room before, when I was not on my purpose, my room was filled with distractions. I had a PC, right? I had LED lights everywhere. It was super cozy and comfy, and you want to sit down and just lay down every single day. My room is bare bones now. I have my bed, I have my desk, and that is literally it. I have maybe 2 posters on the wall and this whiteboard. That is about it. The only thing I can focus on now is getting work done. That desk is where I spend majority of my time, because guess what? All I did was change the environment. All I did was flip around the desk that I used to use for my PC, and now I've attached a new relationship with the desk, right? Now the desk in my mind is where I get my work done. So I know every single time I sit down in that chair, I'm going to get my work done. I've built an environment with the intent and focus of achieving a goal. Now I've programmed my mindset now, because as I do these videos, I am further lulling myself into this deep state of mind that I have, this unbreakable, unshakable mindset. Of course, the goal I want to achieve is going to come to me faster than anybody else, because my environment shows me what I want. My mindset shows me what I want, right? And then there's another thing that's going to show you exactly what you want. Your actions. If your actions are in line with your intent and focus towards your goal, you are going to be able to get what you want. It's really not that hard. Law of attraction. If you want to attract something, you have to think about it. Law of action. If you want to attract said thing, you need to actually be having action with said thing. If you would combine those two with the law of intent and focus, of focusing on that goal and intentionally doing everything that is in line with that goal, of course, you are going to be able to get what you want and get everything that you wanted out of life. Because guess what? Everything that you've dreamt about, you've been working towards. You've done it with the intention of achieving it. Everything you've ever thought about, you had the intention of achieving it. So your actions follow the same thing. Of course, how are you going to be able to fail if everything about you is actually wired for this goal? And that's the difference. A lot of y'all will say, oh, I want to achieve this one thing, but you're not actually doing anything to get to that point. How am I going to be able to achieve the goal if I'm not wired myself to become that person who achieves the goal? How will I do that? There's no way you'll be able to achieve what you want if you're not wiring yourself differently. You have to wire yourself differently than most people. You have to seek the discomfort. You have to seek the pain. You have to seek the consistencies day in, day out. When it gets boring, when most people want to switch because there's no more motivation, when most people want to leave because there's nothing that's there, there's no more spark for them, but you still keep going because you still have that spark, because you still have a goal, because you still have intention and focus on achieving something. Of course you'll be able to get it more than the person who's doing it, the 99%er. Of course you'd be able to. Most of these people do something for 3 months and then leave. You've been doing it for 6 months and you're still going. Of course you're going to be able to get it. You've been doing it for 2 years when they left after 2 months. You've been doing it for 4 years after they left after 2 years. You've been doing it for 6 years with the same intent and focus you've had since year one. Of course you're going to be able to get it more than the person who quit after month 3, after month 6, after month 9, after the first year or the second year. Of course you're going to be able to achieve it more than somebody, because your intent and focus, your lust, your drive, your desire for this action, your intention and focus was actually wired for this goal. It was wired for this. Of course you're going to be able to achieve that goal because you were wired. You've been wiring yourself for this goal. And then last one. The last one that you guys can have is conversations. Now, why are conversations important? Conversations are important because your words are power. When you spell out the word spelling literally has the word spell inside of it. Your words are powerful. Your words carry energy inside of them. If you tell people you're going to do something and you don't hold up your end of that bargain, that energy was used for a misintent. It was not actually intentionally used towards something to achieve a goal. If you are having conversations with only the intention and focus of achieving a goal, and everything that you have, every conversation you have with a person is directed towards, this is the goal that we are achieving, this is the goal that I want to achieve, I'm talking to people who are helping me achieve this, so my conversations are only built again by this intention and focus on a singular task, on a singular goal. Again, this might be a product of your environment, but this is more on you to do. You have to have the self-regulation. You have to have the self-control. You have to have the undying discipline, the undying intent and focus to achieve said goal. So if you're having this undying discipline and intent to achieve the goal, your conversations need to then be in line with said goal. You can't be talking about money and then go be talking about girls 45 minutes later. You can't be wanting to achieve success and you're talking about what LeBron just did. You don't want to be talking about achieving, your goals and your passions, and you're talking about what Ruth did at work. What are you talking about? You're using your words for misintention. You had no focus on your words. You had no intention towards them. You weren't learning something. You weren't telling the world something. You weren't putting into the world energy that's going to help you achieve your goal. Nor were you having a conversation where this energy that you're talking about, with this back and forth with this person, is again with the intention and focus on a goal. Everything you need to do when you want to achieve something needs to be obsessively catered towards achieving said goal. That is how you get the goal done. When you have the obsession, when you have the intention, when you have the focus, when you build an environment, a mindset, actions, and conversations with the intent and focus of achieving said goal, you cannot lose. There's no way you would be able to, because everything in your life has been catered to said goal. You have been obsessed with this goal. You have a desire to achieve said goal, and you know you have the actual undying discipline to keep going every single time, because you know your intention and focus is on that one singular goal. Whatever it might be for you, that goal is important enough for you to chase it every single day. You have the intent and focus. So as long as you keep that, you will forever be able to outwork the 99% of people, because the 99% of people are talking about random nonsense, right? Their environment is filled with random nonsense that's not in tune with their goals. Their actions have no cohesion to what they want to achieve, right? And the conversations they have is filled with nothing. Their conversations are filled with energy that has no use, energy that is just being dispersed for no reason. Their conversations that they have hold no power between them and the person that's going on. There's no intention or goal or focus to achieve a goal in said conversation, in said action, in said mindset, in said environment. Change your environment, your mindset, your actions, your conversations. Change them and have the dying intensity and focus on a goal, and I promise you, you'll be able to achieve that goal, because that reality is sitting in front of you. And as long as you chase that reality every single day, that reality is going to get closer and closer towards you 10, 20 times faster than the person who says that they want it enough, but they have not done the actual actions to program and recode themselves and recode everything about them and everything around them to be tailored to said goal. You learn this law, you conquer this law, you'll be able to conquer anything in your life. Be a conqueror.